Well, we continue with the broadcast this morning, and today being July the 18th, and we are talking about Mandela Day and honoring the legacy of Nelson Mandela. Now, we know right across the entire country, many individuals, many organizations are involved, dedicating this day to the legacy of Nelson Mandela and, more importantly, making a difference to the lives of people. And one of the organizations is Africa Muslims Agency, Transforming Lives, this morning. And we are joined now by the regional manager of Africa Muslims Agency, Hafiz Hussain Choonara. Hafiz Hussain, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome. Uh, well, I think we have lost Hafiz Hussain Choonara. I know he is on en route, and he mentioned he is very, very close to the home of Nelson Mandela. There we go. We've got Hafiz Hussain Choonara with us. Hafiz Hussain, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Uncle Inayat, and to all the listeners and viewers of Salam Media.
Yes, I see you are obviously traveling and you are en route, and I believe pretty close to the village where Nelson Mandela was born.
Absolutely, literally a minute or two away, Uncle Inayat, from the village of Vezo. We've been here from yesterday together with the chief, Virile Mandela. We've been embarking on identifying villages that are in need, especially in the Eastern Cape. As I'm sure most listeners would know, the Eastern Cape being amongst the poorest province in South Africa, with a high unemployment rate and poverty high in this region. So, ensuring and working together with the villages here to provide sustainable programs.
Yes, the fact that now obviously Africa Muslims Agency involved in remembering the legacy that has been left behind by Nelson Mandela, and also in honor of Mandela Day, looking at your initiatives. What is the plan this time around for AMA?
Absolutely, of course, the former statesman, one of the examples of bringing people together all over the world, that's Nelson Mandela, in terms of serving humanity. And, of course, as we know, as Muslims, it is an act of duty every single day to come to the assistance and service of humanity wherever you are, not only on one day, but every single day. But of course, today highlighting, the impact that the former statesman Nelson Mandela had on the world in bringing people together. Africa Muslims Agency. Our efforts here in the Eastern Cape is throughout the year, not only today, but throughout the year, where the villages here, the people here receive hot meals on a daily basis around, particularly around the areas of Uitenhage in partnership with AfriSafe Cash and Carry. But today, working with the chief here, ensuring that the communities here are also not left behind. Because as we see in these villages, as we go from village to village and as we interact with the people, extremely high poverty people need. One is, of course, the immediate need of food, but long term, they need support to farm and grow crops as well.
Yes, and I suppose this is the reason why you are talking about transforming lives with a seed and a tree drive in honor of Mandela Day.
Yes, absolutely. So, yesterday, 5,000 seedlings of cabbage and spinach were given to families from 6 villages around Mvezo. Mvezo, as we know it, is the birthplace of Nelson Mandela. And today, we'll be planting trees here, not only in the homestead, but be given out to the people here in these villages that will use these trees. Of course, these are fruit trees that will be planted. So, going forward, providing a long term solution for food security yeah, yeah, in the Eastern Cape.
Well, certainly, and also just how has AMA been received with this initiative by the communities in these villages? Hafiz Hussein.
Absolutely, of course, one of gratitude, one of appreciation. Of course, it's a partnership that we've been working for a long time now. Here in the Eastern Cape, and of course, the people really, really appreciate any support coming this way. The Eastern Cape, kind of the forgotten province of South Africa. In terms of people here living in absolute rural conditions, beautiful. I mean, if you see behind me, it's the hills, it's people living in the mud huts, in the rondavels, on the hills here. So absolutely beautiful. But as you walk into those huts, you realize the condition of the need of food.
Well, certainly, and also I think as you mentioned, poverty in that part of the world. We're talking of abject poverty. Food insecurity is a major problem. But as you mentioned, although today is very, very significant, but you are looking at a long-term plan with the initiative that AMA has embarked on
Absolutely. The plan.
today.
Yes, absolutely. One is, of course, to provide the immediate response in terms of food security, in terms of immediately right now, in terms of whether it's blankets and food and nourishment, but then also to see what is the long-term projects that can be sustained and empowered here in the villages here. So, one is one is, of course, the seedlings that provide the food security, the locals able to farm and grow crops, and then also water drillings of boreholes in these communities. Not far from where I'm standing, a borehole was drilled. We drilled a borehole here in a village for the people here near a school, a rural school in the villages here. So of course, water and food security high on the priority list here in these villages in the Eastern Cape.
I was saying, in your engagement with the community, and I see people walking in the background as well, and I'm actually, quite glad that you are allowing us and our viewers some of the visuals behind you as well. What actually stands out for you in your engagement with the community?
The humility, the people here are extremely humble, grateful, appreciative. Not, one is, we always remind ourselves, Uncle Inai, that of course we know that sometimes the people we interact with are being tested, but then you realize that you are being tested more because you see the smile on their faces, you see the gratitude and the appreciation that they have of no matter who it is, that's played a part in this process and the ongoing processes of assisting people. Whether you donated, whether you physically supported, whether you in the field. It doesn't matter where you are. There is a need on the ground, and the real question mark ultimately, not only on Mandela Day like today, but ultimately on this beautiful day of Friday. On this Juma day, on every single day, what is in your heart? What is your intention? What is your niyyah to come to the assistance of another human being, inshallah? And we encourage you to join Africa Muslims Agency in its efforts to empower communities right here in the Eastern Cape and across South Africa.
Yes, just talking about joining Africa Muslim Agency, just spend a few minutes talking about the team that you have with you as well, and also looking at the support, your support base, because I'm sure that there are many people, donors, that have actually bought into this initiative as well to support AMA to make this initiative a huge success. Hafiz Hussain?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, Uncle Inayat. Sorry, I left you there for a second. Of course, I mean, with me is we have Brother Muhammad Tahir, who heads up our volunteer base around South Africa. Brother Omar and one of the other volunteers as well that's with us here in the Eastern Cape that's come down over this past days and today as well. Will continue the efforts and programs in the initiative here, but of course only through the mercy of Allah and generosity of donors that we're able to continue the efforts here, not only in South Africa, but in different parts of the world, and fulfill the niyyah of the donors, and then provide feedback to them, in terms of the niyyah, and bringing the intention closer to them so they can see the impact. And the reason why we're here is to, of course, share with the donors the impact that they have on these communities right now.
Well, Alhamdulillah, in fact, I'm glad, that we have actually spoken, because it is a special day for many right across the entire country, and for AMA in particular as well. I was saying, Jazakallah khairan so much for that, for taking time out as well, for the visuals behind you as well, and really, making us part and parcel of this wonderful initiative through this broadcast. And Allah accept your efforts. Allah reward everybody else associated with AMA in making a difference in transforming lives, inshallah.
I mean, Jazakallah for giving us the time, and to you, Uncle Inayat, and to the Salam Media team, Jazakallah for having us. Allah bless you and reward you and take you in the station from strength to strength. And to everybody listening right now, we encourage you to please support Africa Muslims Agency's efforts. We're coming to you live from the Eastern Cape, from the birthplace of Nelson Mandela in the village of Mvezo. And our efforts continue not only today, but every single day in empowering communities across South Africa.
I mean, Jazakallah for that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And yes, just to remind you that this hour of News and Views is brought to you by Africa Muslims Agency, transforming lives, and they have been for a very, very long time. And also, talking of AMA, just to remind you that we also have got fired up with Hafiz Imran Choonara, personal excellence mentor and CEO of Africa Muslims Agency, coming through during this hour of the broadcast. We're going to go for a quick break. We come back, we'll be joined by Sakira Essa and Ayub Darabai on tour to the Holy Land, to the blessed land of Palestine.